Hello, Emma here. Right, I just want to do a series of videos just going through the general safety, maintenance and use of a katana. Now, as it says a disclaimer at the front of this video, and it will say that at all the videos to follow this, I am not a qualified instructor, I'm not a black belt, I'm merely just a practitioner of the art. That's all I am, and I just want to stretch some safety notes and bust a few myths about this particular weapon, because there are a lot of things that people say you should and shouldn't do with them, and I'm going to put all that straight in the next few videos. But just for this video, we're just going to go through the basic parts and what they're for. And in the video following this, I'll probably be taking this whole thing apart piece by piece, reassembling and cleaning and care techniques, and then I'll move on to safety techniques like drawing the sword, resheathing the sword, attaching the sword, and basically how to hold it in a safe manner, how to grip, things like that. And then we'll be going into techniques like blocks, strikes and all sorts of other lovely stuff. Because if you are watching this video, no doubt you're a prepper or a weapons enthusiast, or into that sort of idea of thinking, and no doubt you've got one of these somewhere if you're lucky enough to have one, be it a real one or a training one or a fake one or one of them Chinese made ones, I don't know, but the principle is still the same, and we can learn a bit of safety on using one just to prevent accidents happening, and just to use it properly, because if you do mess up with it, some dark things can happen. I've seen it. So yeah, let's get on with the video. Right, so I've put the sword on the rack just for the demonstration because this is sharp and I do not want to cut my fingers, and I'm also going to be using my stick. So I'm going to name the parts on the sword first from this end, and then the saya from this end. But the first part we recognise is this, the handle or the scar, and it's normally wrapped in cotton. This one is a cotton one, but they can also be wrapped in silk, leather, I think that's it really. The inside the handle could be made of shark or ray skin. I believe this one is ray skin, I don't know because I didn't buy it from the manufacturer. So shark or ray skin is what the white bits usually are inside there. So this part here is the manuki, and there's one on the other side. Now they're underneath the wrapping, so when they put this on, they put this on first and then wrap over it. Sometimes it helps with grip, but not always. It just depends where they're placed and to what sword. Now we have this groove that runs down the whole length of the blade. Now this is called the bohi. It's not a blood groove, which is what a lot of people think, that it's for stabbing and it creates an air thing to pull out. It's not for that at all. What this is, it provides strength to the blade. It's more of a blocking edge. This part here is called the suba. Basically a sword guard just to protect your hands. If a blade did decide to come down, it would save your fingers. Here we have the makugi, which is a bamboo pin that goes all the way through. There's a hole in the blade and it goes all the way through into the other side. Now it's tapered, it only goes in one way and out the same way. So it's fat at one end and thin at the other, but that will come apparent in the next video. Also there could be two of these, so it could be one here and one here for extra security. This is only have the one on it, but some of them do have two. It's more common that they have two rather than the one. Here we have this brass collar, which is called the habaki, which just covers the bottom of the blade for about 3 centimeters. Also underneath the habaki we have a sepper. Now there's two of these. It's like a brass plate made of the same material as this, and there'll be one here and underneath the bottom of the tsuba. They're basically just to stop it wiggling and just to keep everything taut, like washers. Now this part, if you know samurai swords, katanas, you'll know that this wavy line, which is a different colour from this part, is called the hamon. Now that's the temp line. From where they fire it, they cover it in a series of clay layers and heat it up again, and when they quench it, this temper line is formed. Now this is a real temper line. Some of these can be fake on certain swords, but I'm going to show you like a training sword and a fake sword compared to this. You can see the difference in a minute. So you have your cutting edge, which is the sharp piece, which is called the ha, and the back of the blade is called the mune. The kisaki, the tip of the blade, this is the end piece, and as you can see it's got a different colour or direction of polishing compared to the other part, the main blade. So we have here the sheath now, or in Japanese the saya. As you can tell, it's like a black lacquered shiny effect. Here we have the kurigata, which holds the sagyo in place, which is a cord for fastening it to yourself, and also to keep, when it's in storage, you can also wrap this around the saya and around the tsuba, locking the two together. Now this would be on the outside of your body when you're wearing it, but also when holding a sword you can use this so you recognise, I mean some swords they are a different distance apart, not by much, just a couple of centimetres or so, but when you get used to your sword you'll realise how far that is, which comes in handy for the drawing. Also this assists keeping it in your belt when you are using it, that way you won't lose your saya when in combat. The koujuri, which is just basically the end of the saya, or the cap on the end basically. Koeguchi, which is where the blade will enter the saya, and the reason it's called the koeguchi is because it resembles a fish mouth, like on a koi carp. Turn it on its side, you can see why it's called that, if the light will pick this up, but you get the idea. Now that's where the habaki will sit in there. It seems it sort of locks in slightly, so you'd have to push out with your thumb. And of course the last part, the sagyo, which is the cord which fastens it to your belt, like a retainer basically. As you can see, mine is white and well in need of a wash. But that's the last piece, and it's connected to the saya. So we have three swords here. This is the one you've just looked at. This is a bokon, which is a wooden training sword, usually made out of red oak. This is a training sword, which is completely blunt. There's no sharpness to the blade. So we'd call this one a shinken, which is a sharp sword, which is quite capable of cutting. We have here the bokon, or bokon, depending how you pronounce it, which is just a piece of wood. This is an iaito, which is just a training sword. It's never been sharpened and probably ain't capable of being sharpened. It's not for striking anything, because it'd probably shatter or break. It is literally just for going through the movements. So I'm going to show you a close-up of the shinken and the iaito, and you'll see the difference in the blades. So now you can see the difference in the temper lines. On the shinken, where it's been heat treated, you can see that wavy line. It's not exacerbated as much as the Ito, which is a lot more shinier, but it is prone to scratching if you're picking that up. And as you can see, the hamon all the way along the blade has been etched in with a laser or acids during its manufacturing process. So if you hit this on something hard anyway, I mean, it can take a little knock, but chances are you'll end up with 2-3 bits, where this one is actually for cutting. As you can see from this cross section, we've got the Ito, which is, that's just flat, opposed to Shinken, which is just a continuous point. So I think that went well. I could talk about sayers, but there's literally no point. This one is no different from this one, except for colour and texture, and maybe the odd shape things. But other than that, it's exactly the same. So look forward to the next video, which will just be basic drawing and resheathing, and I'll get into all the terminology on that when we come to it. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.